Hello everyone, today I want to share with you 10 cards I've made using Spellbinders Belleview collection with Rosie Studios. There is an unboxing of this kit in another video, have a look for it, but right now it's time for card number 1. So I've taken this gorgeous rosy background and covered the front of my card. Then I've taken a piece of gold mirror card and I'm placing a strip of the blue and blush striped paper towards the left hand side of the card. I'm using here the gorgeous arched layering dies, and this is from My Favorite Things. I've cut a gold mat for my background for my pretty peacock paper that I've die cut there to feature that gorgeous, very regal peacock. I've taken one of the chipboard sentiments that says so beautiful and popped that on the right side of my peacock, and then to finish the card I've brought in some of the white gems from the collection. I'm then going to add some of the smaller gems just to highlight that sentiment there, and once that's done, my first card's all finished. I think it's lovely. Card number 2 is a longer video, but that's because I'm going to bring in some paints to amp up the impact that the main focal point I have for my card will have. So to start off, I've brought in some of the patterned paper that I used in the previous card, and that white with the blue design on it is peacock patterned paper. Then the rosy blue background paper there, that is a leftover strip from the first card, and that's going to cover the gap I had on the left hand side. I'm also bringing in the dark green diamond checkered patterned paper, and that's going to sit in the center. But to keep it nice and level, I've added an extra piece of white patterned paper to sit underneath to make sure where the patterned papers join remains nice and smooth. I've brought in my first piece of die cut ephemera, and that is that doily. Now I've cut it so that it will sit nice and flush against the edge of the dark green paper. To highlight the edges there and bring in some gold, I'm using some pinstripe peel-offs by Love from Lizzie. Now here is the main image I'm going to use for this card. It's a lovely large peacock, and I'm sitting that in the center of my card base. And then this is one of the chipboard stickers, and I'm using that for my sentiment. I will pop up the right hand edge of that with some doubled up foam tape, and that'll keep it nice and level. Now here I've brought in some of my watercolor paints, and I'm going around and I'm going to highlight the eyes of the peacock feathers, firstly with the gold watercolor paint, and this is beautiful paint. I've used first the paler lighter gold, and then I've used the more intense rich gold closer to the center of the eyes of the peacock feather. Once I have all of the gold added on, and I am adding just a small amount at a time, it is very good quality watercolor paint, so you don't need much. The pigment is very strong and very rich, and I will go around, add that on to all the little pieces of the eyes, and then I'm going to bring in another set I have, and these are color shift watercolors. So when they're on the different angles in the light, you'll see the colors in the paints change. So I'm going in first with a very deep teal blue that has a slight green color to it, and then for the very center or the bottoms or tops of the eyes of the feather, I'm going in with a rich royal blue that has a slight purpley undertone to it when you move it in the light. I'll also use that blue just to put a little highlight on the crown of feathers on the peacock, and then add a little bit of highlight along that very proud chest that the peacock has. And I'll also add a little bit of sparkle around the eye. Then I just make sure I've topped everything up, and I will show you how the card looks once it's all dry at the end of the video. I really enjoyed adding those little watercolour details to that peacock. Card number 3, I'm making this card in the landscape orientation. I'm going to use for my background paper that dark blue and a lighter green stripe. Now to that, I'm going to add on some of the gorgeous florals that are in our ephemera, and they're going to form the focal part for my card. So these flowers are going to take up the bottom third of my card front. And when I arrange my images, I put them all together on the front of the card where I think I want them to go, and then I'll use some light tacky tape, hold them together, and then I'll turn them over and glue them together first and then add them onto the card front. Now, I have gone ahead and taken one of the blue doilies and cut that in half and added to the card front. And then I've taken the leftover piece of green doily from card number 1, pop that up on a little bit of foam tape at the top and glue at the bottom and place that over top. Then for a sentiment for this card, I've brought in dies from one of our previous club kits, which is the outlined sentiments, and that was the small die of the month back in June 2022. And you can see lovely size sentiment, matches the sort of size of the bottom third of the card, and I'm putting that in the top third of my card. I've used pink background paper to match in with the pinks of the florals, and then brought in some gold mirror card or foil card to highlight that sentiment. Now of course you can use any sentiment die set that you have. This is the one I had and wanted to use, and I'm going ahead and doing that. I'm then adding ribbon to the bottom of the card, a nice line there, matches back to the green of the paper and brings in that line element of the paper as well. And there is a shot of the Craft Perfect ribbon I've used from Tonic Studios. Now to finish up with this card, I've brought in 3 of the gold hearts from the ephemera pack, and I'm just going to scatter those onto my card front. And I'm sure you probably know that when you place your ephemera pieces, putting them sort of in a triangle pattern really makes it more pleasing to the eye. So that's what I've done here. And that card is simple, but I think very, very effective. Card number 4. Now this key pattern just reminded me so much of Paris and all the love locks that they put on the bridges there. So that's where I took inspiration for this card. So you can see there, I've got that gorgeous key patterned paper that has the gold highlights on it. And then I've taken a piece of navy pearlized paper and cut out the word love. Now that is from a very old Sizzix set of dies that I have. Then I've brought in these gorgeous padlock hearts. So like I said, the keys, they need somewhere to go, and these are all the padlocks that I imagine on the love locked bridges that you see in Paris and around the world. So I've got my sentiment there, and I've cut it out of the blue pearlescent paper and then given it a shadow as well. Now by popping that up, it allows me to slip those lock die cuts over the ends of the letters so that they hang off there. And then I'm also taking more of the key ephemera pieces and I'm just threading them through the locks as well. The die set for the locks is a Hero Arts die set, and you can see it cuts all different sized padlocks and all different shapes of padlocks. And for this card, I have used a more of a matte gold cardstock as well as a very bright foiled gold cardstock. And I just think it gives that little bit of extra dimension and difference. Then from our cardstock stickers, I've grabbed 2 of our gold foiled little hearts and added those on. And then I'm bringing in some of the little tiny chipboard keys that we have on the sticker pack as well. So there are 2 of those, and I'll add that to the card as well. It's kind of a very busy card, but I don't mind so much. I just know in my head that's what I imagine with that whole love theme. Card 5 is going to use this lovely background text, and it does make sense if you want to sit there and read it. I am placing that onto a landscape style card base, and I'm then going to create a little swag in the front. So to do that, I've taken some of the large green leaves from the ephemera pack, and I'm going to glue those directly onto our background paper. Then over top of that, I've got my 2 floral arrangements, and I like that in this die cut ephemera set you get a set so that you can have them facing left and right. Then the focal point here is going to be this gorgeous blue fan, and I've popped that up on some foam tape as well. Now for my sentiment, I went back through some of my Spellbinders clubs and pulled out this thank you sentiment to place neatly on the fan. So I thought that would be a nice way to decorate the fan as well as having my sentiment. So once I have these glued on, and you may have noticed that I do have extra layers behind the gold. I've put on 2 layers of navy cardstock to give it some height. And now I'm going in with those gorgeous gemstones, and I'm just going to pull in the beautiful blue to go and match back with the blues of the ephemera pieces. And finishing off, I had to use this gorgeous blue butterfly, and it's going to be the final little touch for this card. I think that's really pretty. For card number 6, I'm bringing in this beautiful, cheery, happy yellow paper, and I'm going to cover the entire front of my A2 card. Then I'm going to use the Spellbinders Make-A-Wish arched label dies, and I've cut the largest die in that set, followed by the next smallest die to create my layers. So you can see I'm focusing on that beautiful lemony gold and that lovely minty green colours for this card. So I'm going to build up a decoration there on my arch on the right hand side, starting with this little grouping of creamy neutral coloured flowers. I'll get that stuck in place, and then I've got here the second of the green doilies, and I'm just going to glue that in place. Over top of that, I've got another one of these gorgeous teapots and the gorgeous cup. And next, I'm just lining up that large cake on a platter and working out where to put my teapot in coordination with the cake. Now the cake is popped up on some foam, and to decorate my cake platter, I've brought in that second little bow ephemera piece. Now this is a circular piece from our chipboard stickers, and I thought the colours matched lovely, and it was a nice addition to the front there. The Celebrate sentiment comes from our chipboard sentiment stickers, and it was the perfect colour, of course. And then I've brought in some of the puffy pink circles from our puffy sticker pack. This just adds a little bit of the pink tone that we see in the teapot and to give it a bit of balance. And I'll finish the card off with that little blue gemstone on the cake platter. Card number 7, I've brought in some more of the navy pearl paper, and I've cut that just a little bit smaller than my A2 card base, and that gives me that nice clean white border around what will be my centre point of my card. I'll then layer a piece of the light blue damask paper, and it's cut again just slightly smaller than the navy cardstock. So we're getting that nice border around there as well, just to help frame up the detail that'll be in the centre of our card. Now I've taken a piece of the wood parquetry style paper, and I've used a zigzag die to give it that zigzag edge. Then you can see here I've taken lots of different die cut pieces and I've made myself a collage. And collage isn't something I do very often, and I think it's because I like, if I'm using ephemera pieces, I like to have them seen completely and not tucked too far behind. But I gave it a go today and I'm reasonably happy with the results. I think you can still see each and everything that I have hidden or tucked in under each other, and it looks nice. So I've then taken this little book design, given it a little fold in the middle where the book would be, and then popped the sides up on some foam tape. So it looks like we're reading a book and we've got worldwide adventures happening in it. And then I'm just going to add on this little key tucked underneath the book on some foam tape, and then one of our chipboard stickers that says all the good things. So I think you could use this card for a variety of different occasions and then just put a more specific sentiment on the inside of your card. I am going to finish off with a few of the gemstones, and that's my collage card completed. Card 8 features this really pretty green background with the florals over top, and again there were just lots of beautiful papers in this collection. Now, to go with the blues and the creamy whites in the background paper, I've brought in the paper with the blue bows, and I've cut that on an angle so that we've got a pointed tip pointing to the right of the card. Now I've used a La La Land Crafts doily die and cut that out of one of the papers in the pack in that light green, and then I've taken the second fan that we have in our ephemera and I'm placing that on top of the doily. Here is that gorgeous cake, and that's going to get placed on top of our fan. So we're building up layers for our main focal point, and then I'm going to add on this very pretty elegant lady, and she'll go up there against my fan. And then on foam tape I've got our second teapot and teacup, and I'm going to bring in some of our chipboard hearts to add some extra decoration. This is one of the puffy sentiment stickers from the puffy sticker pack, and it says from the heart. And of course, if you're going to say from the heart, there probably should be some hearts on the front of the card, which is what I've done. I've added one little pink gem to the lovely little girl's hair, and that finished off my card. Straight into card number 9, where I've used a Spellbinders lacy edged die, and I've cut that to be slightly smaller than the A2 card base, and you get that nice white popping through the design. I love this peacock paper. It is stunning and it was very hard to use, but you got gorgeous papers, you probably should use some of it at least. Now, I must have been feeling brave because this is my second type of collage card I've done. So, I've got the gramophone, then I've taken the clock and they are glued over top of each other. Then I've got this beautiful proud peacock to go over top of those two images, and it's popped up on some foam tape. Now, if we've got a gramophone, I figured it's probably a good place to have some of that sheet music from the ephemera pieces. I'm going to decorate my little peacock there with another gorgeous bow. Then I'm going to bring in some more elements, and what I've done is taken one of the gold ephemera pieces and cut that into two pieces so that I can have some gold shining through on both sides of my peacock. Then I've chosen to bring in one of the pink puffy stickers with the sentiment, and it says cherish every day. Then to finish off, I brought in some of those puffy blue circles and one of the puffy stickers that looks like a postcard. I just wanted a little bit more of the pink in there because you've got plenty of those pink tones on our peacock. I have got my glossy accents, and then I went over top of the peacock's bow just to give it some highlight. Card number 10 has a lovely, bright, summery feel to it, I think. And you can see I've taken some more of our beautiful patterned paper, and I've got the blue polka dot background, and then I've taken two smaller rectangular pieces, and I'm going to layer those together in the center of my card. And they're going to form the basis of where I place my images. Now, to cover up the seam there of my papers joining, I've got my little rick-rack type die cut and cut that out of some gorgeous peachy coral coloured cardstock. Then I've used the spiffy speckles from Lawn Fawn, that's the paper you see there, those two pieces, and I've cut a little tag and a stitched square, and they're going to go onto the right hand side of my card front, and that sort of helps ground the next image I'm going to place on, which is this really big prominent vase of gorgeous flowers, and that is popped up on some foam tape as well to give you that sense of dimension. And I'm using the chipboard sticker that says keep blooming. I'm going to bring in that really big puffy blue bow and place that over the top of the yellow tag and just arrange the leaves over top of the bow. I've got some of these sunny yellow puffy stickers and I'm placing those around the floral vase. And to finish off, I've got that little yellow chipboard sticker to place in the corner of the yellow tag. And I think that's a really happy, bright card. Let's go back and review all the cards I've made with this kit. Here's our first card, and it's that beautiful blue fan and butterfly. Then I have a second thank you card, and it's with our beautiful floral die cuts there and the doilies. Love this nice, bright, happy coloured card. And here comes some of the peacock cards. The peacocks were, of course, my favourite element in this kit. Here is my second peacock card, and it was a collage. I think it's gorgeous too. And next up is that beautiful birthday or celebration cake with that gorgeous silhouette paper in the background. Here is my third and final butterfly card, and this is the one I used my watercolours on, but then when it was dry I went over top with some glossy accents to help protect the watercolour paint on there from being rubbed off or transferred. Then here is my first collage card, and followed up by our second celebration card, and it's got that gorgeous cake and teapot on as well. And then finally my love card, my Paris Love Lock card. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the cards I've made today, and I really hope you'll come back and join me again soon. Let me know if you had a favourite card, and until next time, bye bye for now.